Francis, since you've moved to Los Angeles, the Lakers haven't been that good.
I know, I think it's a Maxwell.
Do you think it's you?
Might be.
We're going to take a look at their schedule because the question for discussion on this clip is all centered around when will the Lakers be good again? Make the Lakers great again. God. So let's take a look at this first, I think it's number 4, the Lakers season results. You know, there was a time, 2008 to 2010, back-to-back NBA champions with Pau Gasol, Kobe Bryant, the above 690 winning percentage. You know, 2011-2012 was the lockout-shortened season, but they still had a pretty good year, 41-25. And then from 2013 onwards, it's been downhill. Performance did not qualify for the playoffs. Win-loss in the playoffs, non-existent because they were not there. 14th and 15th, respectively, in the Western Conference for those 3 years. And the winning percentage dropping to, I think, an all-time low of .207 in last season. Now, having said that, it's not long before, if the development goes the right way, the Lakers start looking like 08, 09, 09, 010, not 010, 10. Or actually more like 2011, 2012, 2012, 2013. They'll start winning more than 40 games.
At the moment.
Right.
By the way, the official year that they slipped from first is the exact year I stepped foot into Los Angeles.
2010, 2011. Maxwell joins. 2nd, 3rd, 7th, 14th, 14th, 15th.
You can't say, like, it's so funny, by the way. First point is like 08, 09 when they were first, and 09, like 09, 10 and how they were first in the conference, and you look at those records in comparison to what we've seen for the last couple of years.
Yeah, 57 wins was
It's like
first.
57 wins is first. We had, and that's again, like the Spurs are sitting there last season like waving like, hey, we had an unbelievable record. Why is no one talking about us?
2 games, 1 game at home.
It's like we're spoiled now. Well, not spoiled. I would prefer it to go back to that when it seemed a little bit more competitive. It's like we have Golden State Warriors who just kind of clouded all of our vision to the Western Conference should be pretty competitive. Like now we just have 73 wins, and so all of a sudden everyone's
just 73.
This is not competitive at all.
All right. So when will the Lakers be good? Well, I have 2 quotes, I think, here from 05, and number 5 and number 6, and it has to do with D'Angelo Russell and his immediate development. So while we just had a clip we talked about on Friday afternoon in regards to Russell Westbrook and his trade locations, and what about Los Angeles? Because UCLA is from here. Everybody wants to play for their hometown team, right? Mm-hmm. I would love to play for the Knicks. You want to play for Celtic. It's a normal thing. But are we already sure that we want Russell Westbrook to come in there, right? Because D'Angelo Russell's progression has been something noteworthy. He's maturing, and I want to get to these 2 quotes. This is from Bill Plaschke, hands down one of the best writers in the country when it comes to sports. He's great on Around the Horn, too.
Great for a coffee date.
He is great for a coffee date. He seriously is. I think he's a talented guy. So let's get to those 2 quotes. This is number 5 and number 6, and they run back at 2 back. From the LA Times not too long ago. Before Thursday night's Summer League game against the Cleveland Cavaliers, Russell was among the league's best players after 3 games, averaging 23 points on 53% shooting. 12 percentage points better than last season. 7 boards and 4 assists, but that's not even the real story. The real test as he's passed is the eyeball test. He looks bigger, he looks smarter, he's more aggressive, he's more involved. Russell has a post-up move now, one that will finally allow him to take advantage of a surprisingly big 6'5" frame. Russell's not afraid to take over a game now, something he was reluctant to attempt last season as long as Kobe Bryant was watching. And I think Plaschke makes a great point because while Ingram is coming in as potentially a scoring superstar, and he looks like Kevin Durant, he's lengthy, he can create space, that's his ceiling. I love when players have the comparison to Kevin Durant. Your ceiling is a 4-time scoring champion, 1-time MVP, potentially multiple champion if he wins with the Warriors. So again, we have to calm down with the ceilings. Every NBA draft, it's like, he could be LeBron. He can be one of the 8 greatest players of all time.
Spot the irony when these 6-foot-plus guys come in and their ceiling is already like, these guys are already compared to unbelievable players. They're like, you think they'd be hitting the ceiling already? But the irony, their ceiling is very, very high. Anyway, awful jokes aside, I'm interested in this conversation. I'm interested in this point. We have a lot of Lakers fans eyeballing us in the studio, waiting to see what we say. I liked the way that the Lakers were moving in terms of the fact that Brandon Ingram was coming into this team, a young team. I don't take last season's indicator as any sort of, blueprint for what the Lakers were going to be because it wasn't Lakers. It was, let's give Kobe Bryant his retirement tour. Let's find them for 19,000 shots a game, and let's see how things will go.
He scored 60 points in
the final game,
Francis.
Yes, exactly.
Just saying.
What I was looking at when I was watching the Lakers and some of the painful games that I happened to watch was like, all right, what's Jordan Clarkson doing? How is he finding space? Because if Kobe Bryant's not there, He's going to find space. He's maybe going to take that shot, which he did in some instances. I was like, all right, this kid looks good. Great signing to keep him on for the next 4 or whatever years it is. Bring in a Brandon Ingram. He's going to try and find space for another player who is hungry. He's obviously young. He won't be playing as many minutes, but I like those instances of progression. I don't like the instances where they were winning games in the final game of the season because Kobe Bryant was having 60-plus points. That's not an indicator for what the Lakers are going to be in the next 2 or 3 years because he's not going to be there. And they have to adjust to being a team that doesn't just have one superstar scorer that's going to have to bail you out. It's going to have to take you off what, Jason? Live support. There it is. You're going to have a team now that has to work collectively together. That's why Brandon Ingram was a good fit. That's why Ben Simmons wasn't, in our point of view, that we had.
Absolutely.
Because that's just, all right, Kobe's out. Let's bring in the brand new guy who's going to be LeBron James and see how things work with him.
I stand by this. If the Lakers had the #1 pick, I think they still would have drafted Brandon Ingram.
Interesting.
I do. I think that was the swap. That's why I said there was 2 #1 overall picks in this draft. The 76ers made sense with Ben Simmons, and the Lakers made sense with Brandon Ingram. I could be wrong. Who the hell knows? I don't know the Buss family. I don't know Jeannie. I don't know Mitch Kupchak. Maybe I'm crazy. However, Russell's going to develop. Point guards sometimes take longer. I mean, look at the career. I mean, Chris Paul came in the league and was dominant as a point guard immediately. The Hornets lost Chris Paul, and it was like, oh, wow. What are we supposed to do now? Wait for Anthony Davis.
Yeah.
He's like 12 at this point. We're just going to wait 5 years.
He's already 7'2".
He's already 7'2". But so, as you made the good point with Jordan Clarkson, he's a slasher, he can score, and he's getting better at creating. But with Kobe out of the picture, they now can move towards the future. So, one thing I want to point out about Kobe, Julius Randle as well, strong with the left. Very awkward movements out of Julius Randle if you watch him, but he is strong with the left, and that is really important. I find that if you ever play pickup basketball and you have to guard a lefty, in general, it's a different, of course, these are NBA level talent, but I'm just saying in general, it's a different way. You're mirroring how you're supposed to defend, how you naturally would defend against most people who are righties. So I find it an advantage if you're a left-handed in the NBA. I think James Harden has an advantage as a lefty because it's different. You're just not used to going that way as much. So, Julius, they have a young core. I think the Luol Deng, although expensive, you have a veteran presence in the locker room now, someone who's been around the league for a while. That's important. I actually can't stress how important Jamal Crawford, biased aside, is to a team like the Clippers, who has been compared to guys like Chauncey Billups, who was a journeyman late in his career after winning with the Pistons, and being that veteran presence in the locker room. That's something that you need around a Julius Randle, a D'Angelo Russell, as we saw last year with Nick Young, and a Brandon Ingram. And guys like, you could say what you will about Timothy Mozgov. Of course, you could say his negative 15.12 real plus minus, which is up there with, or down there with Roy Hibbert, isn't going to do all that much. However, he's still a starting center in the league, and as Drew McGarry puts it on Deadspin, he's adorable.
He's pricey, but he's going to be needed. But the Luol Deng point is important because as much as we didn't rip apart Kobe, right? So if you're a Kobe fanboy, that wasn't a means to slash the guy's legacy. He's a phenomenal basketball player. But as I said, last season, collectively for the Lakers as a whole, it wasn't beneficial to them in the way that they're going to play in the future. But what was beneficial was his guidance, his leadership, and helping other players mature into positions. Jordan Clarkson always talks about how Kobe assisted him off the court and with his movements. So having a mature head in there is going to be beneficial. The only point I did want to make about Ben Simmons was I was worried if the Lakers were to get that first pick that they were going to fall into a path that has proven to be successful in the past with an all-star player like Kobe Bryant, but I think that all the missing pieces around them were in a way to build a system that was going to help them work, a team, a collective team, rather than focusing on one player. And I feel like bringing in Ben Simmons was going to be like, all right, let's just go back to the old way of working. Let's just go and put in an all-star, and we'll watch him shoot, and we'll take the Kobe rebounds from him and see what's going to happen, and we'll take that and move forward. Whereas when you have players like D'Angelo Russell, who's getting better, and Jordan Clarkson and Randle, that's a system. That's something that's going to have to be worked upon if you bring in a scorer like Brandon Ingram, or if you bring in some mature players like Luol Deng. And I think that it's not going to be all sunshine and rainbow straight away, because you happen to be in a conference that is now stacked with unbelievable talent and very good teams. So, no, you're not going to go back to the 08, 09s, but I predict that this year for the Lakers that they I still don't think they secure a playoff place straight away.
But they'll be 10 wins better.
They'll be 10 wins better than what they were last year. That's my prediction.
Which is improvement. By the way, Francis, we're in LA. It's always sunshine and rainbows in LA.
That is
but you know how you get rainbows? It has to rain, and it doesn't do that because we're in a terrible drought. So just the facts. Only the facts on CYT Sports. So I want to finish really quick with Luke Walton. Of course, there's going to be a new system in place for the Lakers. They kept the Lakers' royal purple blood line intact by hiring another Lakers guy. However, Luke Walton it's a gamble because we don't know if the Steve Kerr-esque system is coming with him in its entirety. We're not sure what kind of elements of the triangle. Yes, I know the Warriors use elements of the triangle. 80% of teams use elements of the triangle. It's not the triangle. Can't wait to talk. We're actually going to have a teaser, Coach Nick from B-Ball Breakdown on, I believe, next week.
I can't wait.
And he could go into all the
talks
details.
Tactics.
He talks tactics.
We're getting
for
tactics
basketball.
on the basketball. But Jason, really quick, give me a rough estimate. A rough year. 2018. That's what I was wanting to see.
That's like the 3.5, 4 year arc. Obviously, another major free agency.
I'm going to say
Steph Curry and Kyle Lowry and
Steph Curry,
the Greek
Lakers.
Freak.
Called it.
And also by that point,
Run the rumor.
The Warriors will be getting a little bit older.
Interesting. I'm going to say 2017. I'm going to go 1 year previous. I'm going to say they get to the playoffs.
I meant like contending. Okay. Making a run at the Western Conference Finals, 2018-19.
Wow.
What year is it?
2016, Jason. You've given them a 3-year window to win the playoffs. So now you need to hold Jason to that. 3 years. If they don't win it, what are you going to do?
Bart's going to kill me.
All right. Interesting. Comment
below.